One of at IU. One of the courses we're talking to is the I'm going to forget the number. It's the professional development course. They write resumes. They talk about I think interviewing style. Do what? Yes, it's like a 200 or 300 level class. I believe I-Core with Rex Cutshaw is also talking to us about the use of this material. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how far he is into that process. I know we have talked to him. He's interested in it. I don't know where his decision-making standpoint is right now. So those questions.
Somebody in IT that is charged with assisting in implementation of this?
Nope. It's us. We manage it all. I'm trying to think if we use anybody at all outside of our department. I don't think we do.
So who's the official sponsor at your school for TurningPoint?
Actually, my wife, Amy Kinser, is. She manages, to a large degree, the K-201 course, and she kind of spearheads most of our development. So that, if somebody's going to talk to us about it, if somebody's going to manage it, that's typically who it comes through.
Okay, so other departments can then give her a call.
We haven't worked that out yet. That's one of the things we're thinking about because there is a.
I can see this getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, and so do we. We want to help. If people want help with the system, we're more than happy to do that. One thing we can't do is become the tech support for the entire department or for the entire school, because then that takes away from our ability to teach. So we are kind of acting as just a spearhead. We're doing this. We're innovating at the School of Business, but I don't know what our level of involvement would be with the other courses directly.
You don't have like a department of instructional technology that perhaps would spearhead?
My understanding at this point is that our IT department is not terribly involved in the system. They don't set anything up for us. We take care of all of that. Now, should this get implemented on, if the whole school adopts, sure, I'm sure they have to become involved. One of the things we've talked about in one of the prior sessions was the number that you click into to register for your section. So the channel number. I'm going to talk about that a little later. I'll just go ahead and bring it up. We use very similar numbers, and we found that this is becoming an increasing problem. Our lecture students click into 72. The K-201 students click into 76. And you can go and look. One of the common problem features we have is students that have participated but never registered their clickers. I would bet good money those are all K-201 students that have punched into the wrong channel in the next lecture hall over and are responding to my questions or responding to K-201 questions on my system. So we have to manage all that stuff right now. 8 weeks into this semester, I still start off every lecture telling my students it's go 7-2 go. I even have the first slide comes up with that on it because I still have people registering into the wrong lecture section. So that's something we've had to manage throughout time.
Would you then, or anybody in the room, when you implement this campus-wide, underneath room number, as you walk in the room, would you implement something that said, go 7-2, go, you know what I mean, to make sure that everybody knew that, okay, I'm in this room now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we assign different frequencies to different
yeah.
here on campus.
Okay.
And then the general ones that we put in the general classrooms or the lecture halls, we have those separate as well. And we went around before we put it on every machine or in every classroom and tested it so that we didn't have to cross over.
So you did it by physical, you did it by logical because you just have a few.
We've only got 2 classes using it right now, yeah. Actually, something I've not really put a lot of thought into right now because there just aren't very many of us using it. But I suspect, just my hunch would be that we would probably end up assigning it by instructor. I don't really know why I think that. It just seems to me like that would be the thought process. Is each
we did it by college.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all, most of us have our own laptops that were assigned to us. We have our own response ID USB drives. I just would imagine that they would say, you're number 50, have fun with that. You're number 72, and our students would be accustomed to using just those assigning as an instructor with that. I have no idea if that's how it would actually go. I think either way is fine. Right now, one of the problems that we face is that the TurningPoint software is not campus-wide. So like when I come into a lecture hall and I have my PC here, it doesn't have TurningPoint on it. So I have to use my own laptop, which is why we probably have driven to using our own channel numbers.
I think that would be a tough decision for, in our case, if you had 380-some classroom spaces versus 850 teachers. How many systems do you want to?
Yeah, on a scale, just because this is something I deal with every day. Carrie, rep for the area, and on a scale, in this situation, you guys, that's definitely.
It's not hard to coordinate 4 people.
Right. When it comes to the classroom, it's very centralized by IT. The most successful implementations are centralized by IT, assigned by room, or however, it's very centralized, very, and the professor, while you're very technologically savvy, not every professor, every type of discipline gets it. The newer system is going to be even easier to use, but some people still are like, I put my channel where? So making it as simple and quick and easy as possible is my recommendation.
And I would suspect, based on the way our IT system works on campus, should this become a campus-wide or a large-scale initiative, then the systems in the lecture halls would have the software installed, and it probably would move more to basing the channel number in the class. Because I know there's lots of interference issues you have to think about. So, any other questions? Just quickly, we don't post grades directly to the students. We don't tell them what % they got right. We actually just tell them, we got your answers, you're fine, you didn't participate that particular day, generally meaning you were absent, or we haven't gotten a clicker registration from you, so we don't recognize your ID number. That's the feedback we give on the initial end. When we, I was going to ask here, how many of you actually track grades, and how do you do it? I realize TurningPoint works with WebCT and Blackboard, integrates with that. I understand it. Does it work with SQL Server as well? There's an Enterprise Manager option. We assumed that meant.
Right, yes.
Okay. Excel, we use a database. I don't track grades. Oh, WebCT, Blackboard. Okay, that's interesting. Again, looking at systems we have right now, the only thing we would be able to go with either is just the Excel Access Database options. I know Angel is used I believe by our MBA program, so I don't know if that would be an option for us, or creating our own database that it would plug directly into. This is the screen we have for individual students. So if Johnny comes up, or in this case, I come up to myself and say, did I participate? The initial screen shows me the student's information. I can collect notes if the student's clicker broke during class or whatever I might need to record on that student. The clicker's assigned to that student that he or she has registered. I can also very quickly look at participation summaries over the classes. So we can say in Lecture 2 there were 300 points possible, you got 200 of them. Basically there were 3 questions, you got 2 of them right. And then it also tells me what section they were entered. The hand-entered option is for the most part obsolete. For the first 2-3 semesters we actually handed out Scantrons as needed, trying not to penalize students just because they were learning a new technology. We kind of feel at this point almost everybody has used the clickers long enough, and the new students coming in are savvy enough that we don't have to fall back on Scantrons anymore. The rate of failure in the classroom itself is non-existent. So if for whatever reason somebody's batteries fail or their clicker breaks during class, they can just come up and talk to us, and we basically hand them a get-out-of-jail-free card for that day. Something we do have to talk about, too, though, amongst us as a group was how do we handle, I'm running really low on time, how do we handle broken clicker issues. This is the database as it assigns points. It looks at the class average. Basically what we do, if you're within 2 standard deviations, this is kind of statistical mathematical, but if you're within 2 standard deviations of the class average on responses, you get the points for that class. We think you're trying, you're working to take in the topics, and that's okay with us. That's what we're looking for, that you're giving an effort. Outside of 2 standard deviations, we figure somebody's kind of asleep and just hitting 1, 1, 1, 1, that kind of a thing. And we find that very rarely do we have to throw those out.